Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us today in the seventh lecture of the Progress and Prospects in Biology webinar series, the special webinar series, and thank you for continuously supporting us over these few months. I am Shinjini, and I'll be your moderator for the day. Uh, Before we begin, I would like to remind you that you can post your questions in the YouTube chat box, and we shall moderate them at the end of the lecture. And the feedback link will be provided in the chat box near the end of the session, and it will not be sent by email. So, without further delay, I would like to request our mentor and convener of this series, Professor Ina Ray Banerjee of the Department of Zoology, University of Calcutta, to welcome our speaker. Ma'am?
Thank you, Shinjini. Hello, Sushil Babu. It is so nice to see you after such a long time.
Thank
Such
you.
a
It
2 years.
is my pleasure.
So, a very warm welcome to all the participants on StreamYard. In fact, we've
Good
started
evening, ma'am.
progress and prospects in biology on the 5th of June, and I'm happy to see that we have traversed so many months. We have also started the Saturday special lecture where, along with the progress in biology, in all fields of biology, we are trying to bring to you experts who can speak on other related fields also. And I'm so happy that today we have somebody, a stalwart, as Dr. Sushil Kumar Mitro, who will be talking about patents, patenting laws, and biology. And all the students and practitioners of biology and related fields will, we hope, benefit immensely from that. So this is also being simulcasted on YouTube, and it will be archived on the YouTube channel. And this forum is conceived and managed and maintained entirely by students. So Shinjini is a PhD scholar herself, and Nondita and Shourodeep and all the others from all around the world. These are PhD scholars who have tried to use the crisis of this pandemic, when we are forced to stay at home, to float this platform and manage it and bring to everybody around the world. And you know, Dr. Mitro, we have viewers from all the continents. So it is a pleasure to welcome you today, and a very warm welcome to all the participants. This series is meant to help you understand, to sensitize you to the work that is going on in the field of biology and related fields, and the way you can add value to yourself, the scopes and the potentials of the different, a whole different way of thinking. So today, Dr. Mitro's lecture is one such, which will probably open new vistas of opportunities for you. So a very warm welcome, Dr. Mitro, and may I request Shinjini to introduce our today's speaker, and we are all eagerly awaiting to hear your lecture.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So Dr. Sushil Kumar Mitra is the director of the Center for Intellectual Property Rights, CIPR, of the Adamas University, Kolkata, and the ex-deputy controller of patents and design of the Patent Office of the Government of India. He has 40 years of professional and teaching experience on intellectual property rights, or IPR. He has established himself as a resource person in IPR as a visiting faculty in different institutes like the IIT Kharagpur, IIM Kolkata, and NUJS Kolkata, among others. Dr. Mitra has been engaged as patent advisor of the Institute Technology Management Unit, the Indian Council of Agriculture and Research, and the Indian Institute of Engineering, Science and Technology. He specializes in chemistry of synthetic and naturally occurring bioactive compounds, analysis of modern drugs and their formulation, IPR, and the patent system, and their usefulness to scientific communities. He has published over 22 research or technical papers and 2 book chapters. He is also a fellow of the West Bengal Academy of Science and Technology for popularizing patents, a highly techno-legal subject, understanding of which is beneficial to the country for economic growth. He has represented India at the World Intellectual Property Organization in 1998 and at the European Patent Office in 2003 and 2015, and has participated in more than 250 IPR workshops as a resource person. So, without delay, sir, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Sinjani, for introducing me, and also Professor Madam Roy for giving the introductions of the seminar. So I will don't waste my time because I don't know within 30 minutes how this vast subject will be covered up. So without going into details, I just go to the slides and presentations, and thereafter we will go for discussions and the interactions. Okay. So now I am going to slide presentations. Now it is okay. Slide is showing.
Yes, sir.
Slide is coming.
Yes, sir. So you have
Yes.
to make it into the slideshow.
Okay. So this
Yes,
is the
it's fine.
subject today. I am going the patentable subject matter in life sciences under Indian context. You may aware that the life science is a very virgin area today, particularly in 21st century, and a lot of research work and funding is going on this subject. But your money, time, and skill, whatever you put into your innovations, whether that is properly protected, or you are going only for publication in non-patent literature journal and giving your work and your mind, creation of mind, without protecting your right, and then it will be used by everybody without paying any benefit of you, which is created by you. So I say that this is the subject most gray area, because in India we have some ethical and moral value. So every product of life sciences will not be patentable. But out of those, something is patentable. So we have to take the opportunity to protect those area, so that at least some commercial gain of those area you can have, and that fund can be utilized for further research work for the public interest and for the public benefit and for the end user. So I am going to my first slide. If I talk on the technology and the evolution of the Homo sapiens, we have come out in 19th century from the Stone Age, which is giving you the machines, modern cities. And in 20th century, we have observed that that is the century for the physics, chemistry, atom bomb, transistor, laser, microchips, drug, pesticides, polymers. Lot of developments we have witnessed in 21st century. And but 21st century, we are calling the age of biology and genetics, dolly, gene therapy, genetic engineering, and whole world is looking for those area because of treatment of different dreadful diseases, and to meet the demand of our food through genetically modified seed and others also. So this century is very important for the research, so for the scientists who are working in biology, particularly botany, zoology, and microbiology. But there are certain things to be maintained whenever you are talking about or you are thinking about the probability of protecting your right, because our section invention is something different. Because generally inventions, any technical solution under sun is an invention. This is the concept of the USA. And in the first 1980, when first life patent was granted from the USPTO, you may know the name of the Professor Dr. Ananda Mohan uh, Banerjee. So in that subject, we can say that that was the first life patent in the world after a long litigation before the Supreme Court of USA, and thereafter the when that patent applications was rejected by the USPTO office, thereafter the appeal was preferred by the applicant and the Chakraborty, and thereafter it has been granted from the court. But in India, the first life patent granted from the court also, because that patent application was also rejected by the Indian Patent Office. And after preferring appeal on that order of the controller, the Honorable Judge Ashok Ganguly from Calcutta High Court has granted the patent with the concept that the biological materials also is a very important area we maybe life is there, but if that life can be used for the benefit of the human being in a large scale or by an industrial process, then why it will not be a patentable subject matter? But our inventions still, we have certain definition, and this definition we have taken from the international agreement trips, that is the trade related aspects of the intellectual property rights under WTO, World Trade Organization, that any novel process having new applications, that is the industrial applications or the known applications, but that invention should be non-obvious in nature. So the only novelty will not pass the test of the invention. The obviousness test also to be tested by our examiner and controller, that whether this is a very obvious thinking or it is a non-obvious thinking. So our invention has the three limbs. One is the novelty, second is the inventive steps, that is the non-obviousness, and third is the industrial application. If all the limbs of the invention satisfied, then you can pass the test of the section 21J. But the one important factor is there in biological research, particularly in the field of life science, that the mandatory deposition of the biological materials in the International Depository Authority according to Budapest Treaty, and disclosing the date, number, deposition of the institution with proper characterization, that only enablement will be coming in the specification to carry out the research by other scientists in the, in the same field. And the third thing is very important thing, because India is a member of the CBD, that is the Convention of Biodiversity. So by virtue of that, we have made our own act, that is the Biodiversity Act in 2002, and the rules was framed in 2004. And the Biodiversity Act has the provision of National Biodiversity Authority at Chennai, and that National Biodiversity Authority is working under Ministry of Environment and Forest, and that authority is giving you the approval under Section 6 of the Act, whether that approval is beneficial for the human beings, and that NBA will look the two parameters. One is the natural product or the bioresource which you are using in your research materials or research project, that will not be endangered species and that will not be extinct from the system due to over commercializations. And second is the agreement with the NBA and the inventors or the institutes, that the benefit sharing mechanisms, because the person or the community who are the preserver or cultivating those materials and preserving the product by using their traditional knowledge, that community also should get the benefit through benefit sharing mechanisms through NBA. So that if that is approved by the NBA after those agreement with the inventor and the institute, then under section 6 of the approval, if obtained by the applicant, then only patent will be taken for the grant of and the monopoly of right will be enjoyed by the applicant. Now I am coming to the most unfortunate areas. You may be thinking that our field of research will not be a subject matter for the patent, because certain exclusions are maintaining in our provisions of the act in India, and this is the section 3B, C, D, E, G, H, I, J, K, P. So the morality and ethical issues are the very important issues whenever you are taking any research project, particularly with the biological materials, scientific principles or natural living. I will come up with the examples. Mere discovery of known substance or mere admixtures, agriculture and horticulture methods is not patentable subject matter. Separate law is there, protection of plant varieties and farmers' rights acts, method of human and animal treatment. Human and animal in whole or parts also cannot be used as a research material. Computer programs, particularly the bioinformatics part and the traditional knowledge under section 3B, are not the subject matter of patent. If your invention is lying within the parameter of these sections, then our office may raise the objections that your invention is falling under this provision, so it will not be a patentable subject matter, though you have passes the test of the inventions. Now I am coming to the inventions when that I have witnessed in my service life, that at biotechnology, though we are talking much about biotechnology today, but there are two types of biotechnological inventions we have observed. In the past, we have seen a lot of classical biotechnological applications like fermentation, yeast clones, isolation of bioactive compounds from natural resource. These kind of inventions are carrying out last 50 years down the line. So, but in the modern biotechnology, if we come up, then we can see the most of the laboratory and research institutions are going for the recombinant DNA technology, vaccines, monoclonal antibodies, new drug diagnostic systems, stem cell and transgenic plant. So I say that the modern biotechnology is very good, but as well as our investment and business is also, there is a very large amount of business is going on our classical biotechnology still. Say for example, the alcohol, how we are getting alcohol by fermentation process. So that is also coming under classical biotechnology. We are using lot of bioactive compounds from morphine, codeine, and some other plant materials. We are getting large number of active components. That is also come biotechnology. So it is not that the biotechnology only is coming in 21st century. Actually, it has been started in 19th century in a classical biotechnological method, but in modern biotechnology is taking space over those areas, and now it is coming into the limelight for the research students and the scientists and different institutes also. So now the modern biotechnology and inventions we have seen in many applications, particularly the foreign applications that was originated from the USA or Europe, that the polymerase chain reaction technology, sequencing, microarray, functional geometrics, bioremediation, another area, medical applications. We have seen the gene therapy, cure of cancer, and bioinformatics. So Indian biotech sector, if we look at that, the industrial contributions in biotechnology only 13%. In agriculture, it is 6%. In service sector, it is 7%, and in IT sector, it is 4%. And rest of the area, that is the most of the area, that is the 70% of our industrial research on biotechnology covered by the pharmaceutical industries. And that investment is also a very big amount of investment they are doing. And you know very well that a lot of companies are doing very good work in the field of biotechnology, and they are making lot of products also and marketing those products not only in India but also in the neighboring countries and others also. So if I look at the thirst area, what is the thirst area of biotech research in India? If we go and search in our database, Indian Patent Office database ipindia.nic.in, you can see a lot of applications we are receiving on nanobiotechnology, GM crops, that is the genetically modified crops, stem cell research, and the bioinformatics. So, lot of classical biotechnological patents also we have seen in our office. That is the process applications and the product applications. So, if any known product is produced by a novel process, then process can be patented also, excluding product. If the product is novel, then both product and process both can be patented. So inventions and the production of the bioproduct having novelty and at least one inventive steps. Inventive step is very important, but that is the non-obviousness. And the products, isolated organisms having the industrial applications, and that isolated organism, if it is naturally occurring organism, then that mixture of organisms or a consortium of the organisms have to be claimed, not the single organisms. And the plant extracts having specific indication about its utility, fermented food and beverages, and chemical substances derived from the extractions or the isolation of such as morphine, quinine, desirpine, and digitalis. So, if I talk on the modern biotechnological patents, we have seen lot of applications are now coming from the abroad, particularly the European sectors and for the US sectors, that the vaccine compositions, bioremediation based on enzymes, and microorganism cultivated bacteria fermentation process, and microorganisms to dissolve hydrocarbon, which is the I do know very well the Diamond versus Chakraborty case. Anandamohan Chakraborty has obtained patent for it's a pseudomonas species genetically modified, which has the activity to dissolve the hydrocarbons. So the but if I look at the definition, because each and every terms are defined in the act, if it is not properly defined in the act, then we have to go by the definition of the dictionary meaning. But as because there is no definition in any part of the world in the statute of intellectual property about the definition of microorganisms, so from the dictionary meaning, the concept of microorganism has been taken by the court, judiciary, and the patent office and tribunals. So unicellular organisms with dimensions beneath the limits of the variations which can be propagated and manipulated in a laboratory will be called as a microorganism. And that covers the bacteria, yeast, fungi, algae, protozoa, human element, plant cells, plasmids, and viruses. So, if we look at the microorganism, what is the legislative framework and regulatory mechanism for protection of those microorganisms? The invention relies on biological material should include reference to a depository of such material. That means if we isolate a novel microorganisms and having industrial application, first you have to deposit the material in the International Depository Authority. In India, we have two depository authority. I will come up, and the depository authority will allow you the ATC, MTCC number and some depository number, and that number is to be included into your specification to identify that this material we have used in our patent specification and our research work, which has some industrial applications. So, in deposit patentable living organism will be recognized according to our Budapest Treaty. India also the member of the Budapest Treaty, and deposit is required to support the claims if isolation process requires undue experimentations to obtain the desired biology. Say, for example, if one microorganism you have isolated by a very conventional process, then deposition is not required. But if undue experimentation is required, then it is the deposition is must, and no deposits required where biological are obtained by a publicly available. Say, for example, I have taken some microorganism from the market for my research work. Then at that time, this number is not required, and for routine experiment and the screen test also. Now, International Depository Authority, where you will go and deposit your material. First, microbial pop culture collections, IM Chandigarh, India, and another International Depository Authority, Government of India has created, that is National Center for Cell Science, NCCS, Pune in India. And both the institute can work as an IDA according to our Budapest Treaty. Now I am coming to the requirements of the International Depository Authority and Intellectual Property Office, IPO. The date and number of deposit is very important, and also the source from where you have collected that microorganisms, whether from Kolkata or Pune or Ranchi or Patna or from other places. That is, the geographical origin is very important, because the biological material, character of the biological material changes from place to place. So geographical origin should be mentioned. And in case under section 104D of the Act 1970, it is said that in case of use of new biological material of the invention disclosed in the patent application, such materials are required to be deposited in any international depository authority under the Budapest Treaty on or before filing of the application, patent application, in order to supplement the description for sufficiency of disclosure of the invention and reference of such deposit to be made in the patent specification. That means before filing patent application, you have to mention that number. Otherwise, your application will not fulfill the requirements of the acts and rules. Now I'm coming to the living organisms. Microorganisms, patentable. Isolated microorganism with specific industrial applications, patentable, but not as a single component, as a consortium. Mutated, similar, but recombinant microorganism is patentable independently. Mandatory deposition is required, source of geographical origin also to be disclosed. Recombinant microorganism, the process is very common and conventional process. Everyone is doing this. With both the case, process and product are patentable, and many applications we have received in our office, the human insulin, immunoglobulin, vaccine, blood clotting factor, BT toxins, and both the product and process are the patentable subject matter, because it is produced by the industrial process to meet the requirements of the public in a large scale, not in a mini scale. Examples I am giving in the microorganisms patentability. This patent was granted from the Indian Patent Office. You see the claim: a attenuated Salmonella strain, where the strain comprises a first attenuating mutation decreasing the LD50 value of said strain at least 50,000 times when compared with the wild type strain, comprises a mutation that prohibits the strain from making a functional REC protein and Salmonella liner strain. So you see, and from that strain, whenever you are making the vaccine composition, that vaccine also can be patentable subject matter. Mutated strain is patentable subject matter, and method of preparation of vaccine by combating the salmonella infection comprising and mixing an attenuated salmonella strain is also. So you see, from a single application, from one application for patent, you can protect your strain, you can protect your vaccine composition, and you can have the protection on the method for preparation of vaccine. This is the way you are to draft the claim, and the claim is very important part of the specification, because whatever you are claiming in the specification, that will be your monopoly of right in the patent. Now I am coming to the microorganisms in applications in bioremediations. This application also was have got the patent from the Indian Patent Office in Delhi Patent Office. A consortium of lignolytic bacteria for degradation of lignin. Said consortium comprising three bacterial strains having the accession number MTCC 509495, 5098, which are respectively such and such, such and such, such and such species. And thereafter, you have to mention the geographical area. The bacteria consortium, as claimed in Claim 1, wherein the bacteria are isolated from a mixture of sawdust and soil from Roorkee, Uttar Pradesh, India. So if you don't mention that claim, then that Pseudomonas species or whatever the species you are using in claim 1 will not be defined properly, as because the indication of geographical origin is absent. So in that way, you are to claim the draft. Claim draft is very important, and judiciously you have to draft the claim. Otherwise, there will be a pitfall after the grant of the patent. So the planned process also, you see the patentable invention processes involving plants to increase the yield, genetic transformation, tissue culture method, micropropagation, and somatic embryogenesis. You see, all the processes is patentable, not the product. If we go on the hybridoma technology, then process is patentable and product is also patentable. You see the blood group, hepatitis B, HCG, HIV, polio, leprosy, malaria, all the areas, process is patentable in hybridoma technology. Now, if I go on the gene patent, which is the virgin area in biotech research, the useful products claims, DNA for specific functions of nucleotide sequence, protein, polypeptide from DNA sequence, recombinant plasmid vector is also patentable, recombinant GM organism. You see, in all the areas where the human intervention is there, only natural product is not there. So, whenever any human intervention is there, that human intervention will be recognized and will be rewarded. And how it can be rewarded? Rewarded through giving the monopoly of right for a certain period, so that you can use it, earn royalty, profit, and you can use the part of the fund for further research work on that field of research. And the process for the production of the product, always in everywhere where the product is allowable, you can find that process is also will be novel, and then process will be patentable subject matter. Now I am coming to the Indian scenario. Living entities of natural origin, which is the product of nature purely, then it will not be the subject matter for patent, because it is the product of nature, not product of mind. Plants, animals, microbes, seeds, plant varieties, and their process not patentable, because it is coming through natural process. Living entity of artificial origin, that is the human intervention is there. There is transgenic plant is not patentable because of some ethical issues and some other laws we have. The protection of plant varieties and farmers rights act, then you can protect by through that area. And transgenic plant also can create some environmental problem, so for that some ethical committees are there before going to create any monopoly of right and marketing that product. And in recombinant microbes is a patentable subject matter, certainly. Biological materials, tissues, organs, as because genes, cells, all are the part of the animals or the human bodies or the living bodies, that cannot be patentable per se. per se. But whenever human intervention will be there and you are making some modifications, then modified product will be patentable subject matter. But directly isolated tissues, organs, genes, cells will not be a patentable subject matter. In Indian scenario, gene sequence, DNA sequence without having disclosed their functions. DNA sequence only having their functions will be patentable. If there is no disclosure of the functions of particular DNA sequence, that cause the lack of inventive step and industrial application for that it will not patentable. An essential biological process for the production of plants and animals such as method of crossing or breeding etc is non-patentable subject matter. Now I am coming to another area where a lot of investments are now going on bioinformatics. Bioinformatics basically a software programming, and it can be described as the marriage between information science and the life science. So involves the application of information technology to solve the complex problem like biological structures, process, and information so generated. So mathematical tools are required to extract the useful information from noisy data produced by high throughput biological techniques such as genomics and screening. So in those areas, actually is not a subject matter for the patent. This can be protected under copyright protections only in India. But in other parts of the world, in USA, it is a patentable subject matter. And in Europe, in some cases, it can be a patentable subject matter when it will be embedded with some hardware and giving some technical solutions. Now I'm coming to the applications. Lot of applications are now going in bioinformatics, in gene sequencing, search of genes, regulatory sequences, genome annotations, analysis of gene expressions and regulations, analysis of protein expression, and prediction of protein of structure, 3D structure, all can be done through bioinformatics applications. Now I am coming to bioinformatics patenting in India. Indian Patent Act, when amended in 2002, excludes from the patentability a mathematical business method or a computer program. So, does this mean that there will be no patenting on bioinformatics in India? But not necessarily. In European Commission, a similar exclusion has been narrowly interpreted, and some patents on bioinformatics are being granted from the European Patent Office. So it all depends on how the Indian Patent Office and our judiciary, that is the court, will decide and interpret the law. So Indian experts in biotechnology and information technology potentially put Indian companies in a strong position in bioinformatics. So they may demand the IP protection in future for their work. So it is now to be tested after the refusal of any application by the controller, where controller application order is set aside by the court and grant the patent, like our Dr. Mr. Ashok Ganguly's order in Calcutta High Court in 2002, or in 1980 the European Patent Office also granted the life patent. So some decisions should be coming from the judiciary, that order will be bound upon the patent office, and then the inventions related to bioinformatics can be the subject matter for the patent. So I am coming to some examples. A very good examples is there. What type of inventions are not patentable after qualifying the test of inventions? Process for culturing microorganism without using any culture media. It is against the scientific principles. For that, it is not a patentable subject matter. Process for producing Superman having 10 times memory power and muscle power as compared to a normal human. It is against the morality. And also process for cloning human beings, process for modifying germ and genetic identity of the human beings, uses of human embryos for industrial and commercial purpose, processes for modifying genetic identity of animals which are likely to cause them suffering without any substantial medical benefit to man or animal and also animal. So these are coming under moral and ethical issues. So it is not a subject matter for patent. A process for prenatal sex determination is not a patentable subject matter. Process for isolation of the gene responsible for baldness from DNA sequence, the method of treatment. So and also the against the morality, section 3C, DNA sequence related to hair loss, not patentable subject matter. Now I'm coming to the use activity of diferidone for the prevention and stabilization of risks and reduction of the risks of the heart disease having an iron overloaded conditions. So because and diferidone is a known compound, and it is known iron chelator and being used as antithalassemia drug. So it is the mere use of known substance. Because already some use is known, but compound is same, compound is known, but use is also known, but the second application of the compound is claimed in the application. So it is the mere use of known substance, so it is not a patentable subject matter. Process of production of mushrooms in such a, it is coming under agriculture, so it is not patentable under section 3H of the act. And method for treating mammals, because it is a method of treatment of mammals, animals, human beings, are not a patentable subject matter. Process for increasing weight and milk production of ruminants comprising the steps of culturing yeast, it is coming under method of treatment. And this yeast in a conventional animal food, it is mixed in the ratio of 1 is to 2 or 10 is to 1 and feeding the ruminant. The same in a piecemeal basis, then you can have the increased weight of the ruminants and the milk also. So it is a method of treatment. For that, it is not a patentable subject matter. Seed deposited, not a patentable under section 3J. And process for controlling insect pest, comprising the step of contacting said pest by expression of a DNA encoding insecticidal proteins in cells of a plant. So you see living organisms, section 3J, plants, animals, parts, whole, transgenic animals, organs, seeds, varieties, species, essential biological process are excluded under Indian concept for the subject matter of the patent. So, but essential biological process is also a very gray area in India, because it is between the essential biological process and non-essential biological process. You have to define whether it is essential or non-essential process. Exist whole biological reproduction is employed, or the step consisting of the direct human intervention could warrant patentability. So this is the lessons from these presentations, that everything is not patentable under Indian context. It may be patentable in Europe or in USA. So if you have this good work, so don't forget to only obtain patent, because patent is a territorial right. If you have the valid patent in India, only that monopoly will be existing in Indian territory. You can go to the foreign countries with the permission of the controller. You can file the application in other countries and obtain patent, and can do the business with that patent right in US and Europe, and earn $1 billion in euro for your research project. And inventions in certain field of biotechnology is patentable, not all. But you have to think, if it's a good work, then you have to go to the global protections. You don't think only Indian protections. Genetically modified microorganisms patentable. Naturally occurring living, non-living, distinctive industrial application may be patentable by, but the composition should be discussed properly. And patent amendments welcome the change for the pharmaceutical and biotech industry. So now the time will say, time will speak, court will say, judiciary will say, our scientists will say what is to be protected and what is not to be protected. Thank you, every audience, for the time and uh, and this lecture.
Thank you so much, sir.
Uh,
It was a very informative session.
I have tried to complete because time is very short. For that, I
No,
have
no, no,
used.
it's fine. You could have
Uh,
continued a bit more also. If you.
Actually, this
So
is
we
at
have a
least
few questions.
uh,
So we have a few questions. So if you don't mind, I can just ask them now.
mhm.
So
Now,
the
what is,
first one,
can we file a
the
patent only in India and also abroad? Yes. Answer is yes. If you can file the application in India, if it is not patentable subject matter, then with the priority of date of the application, you can file the application through international application under patent cooperation treaty. And it is not required to go to the abroad. In India, by sitting in Calcutta, you can file the international applications, and Indian Patent Office is now the international search authority and examination authority. So don't go to the USPTO or EPO or other patent office for the purpose of search and examination also. So you can get the search report and examination report, and with that report you can go to the other countries, that is countries other than India, to protect your invention and can do the business in those countries also.
okay. Uh,
Even yes, even if you don't want patent, with the permission of the controller under section 39, you can directly go to the other countries and file the applications also. But that is to be done within a time frame of 12 months from the first application in India. Okay.
okay. So she has another question: is once we deposit our material, whose property will it be?
In the depository, has certain forms, prescribed forms. So you have to require disclose all the name of the organisms or not known, or the name of the materials, what is the industrial application, what is the geographical location from where you have collected the and how you have processed it, and what is the activity parameter with some data. That is to be clearly defined and clearly written in the prescribed form, and you have to apply to the depository authority. I have already shown that two depository authority we have, one in Chandigarh and another in Pune. You can deposit with some prescribed fees, and within 3 months you can get the number, and that number and with the geographical location should be included in your patent specification during filing of the applications. Okay.
She has another question: is if we develop our own algorithm, then can it be patented?
Algorithm is not a patentable subject matter. Algorithm is a programming. It is falling under section 3K of the act. So it can be protected only copyright. But I can give you some hint. Today, some algorithm is patenting in India also whenever that algorithm expressed in a hardware. Then you have to claim a system, not a algorithm. Algorithm per se is not a patentable subject matter. But algorithm, whenever you are applying this algorithm through a hardware, claim a system, and that system is a patentable subject matter, but not algorithm per se. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So the next question is from Prabhat Kumar Swain. Hybrid technology and patents, can they be interrelated at
Yes.
with each other?
Yes. Hybrid technology and patent both are very closely related subject. Whenever you go to the hybridoma technology, that means human intervention is there, selection of materials are there, process is known, process is conventional process. But whenever your selected materials are different, and you are getting the your starting material are different, and your end product is different, that means it is a product having new industrial application or better industrial application. So that hybridoma technology, not per se, but whenever hybridoma technology is using for any starting material and getting a different product, having more benefit, giving to the end user, and the industrial application is there, then that technology, that process patentable. That process is patentable. If product is new, then product is also patentable subject matter also.
Mhm. Uh, Subhash Kanti Roy wants to know, in case of a drug, it may be from a chemical or botanical origin. The drugs are marketed using different trade names. So in this field, how is patent law applicable?
Actually, the patent law and trademark law, these two laws are coming under intellectual property laws. But the patent law is protecting your technology, and trademark is protecting the goodwill of the product, or goodwill of the company, or goodwill of the manufacturers. So, in that case, you can give any name to the product, but the actual play is going on behind the brand name. Brand name, maybe good brand name is there, but the technology actually plays the and creates the goodwill of the product, and that brand will be strong only. So I say the trademark is protecting the goodwill of the company, goodwill of the product, goodwill of the manufacturer, and patent protects the technology part only, that is the product part and the process part. So if the product and process having the novelty and the inventive step and industrial application, you have to go for patenting. And thereafter, getting the product and going to the before going to the market, you can give a very good catchy name to the product, and should be registered under trademark act also. Okay.
Shanchari Gorai wants to know, in a single application, can we apply for more than one thing that come from different research projects by a single scientist?
By in a single application, we can apply for one or more things, come up different research product by a single scientist of patent. Actually, your question is very confusing, but just I am telling you that single application, one application covers under single inventive concept. Why I am telling? The product, process, and use. Three things can be covered under single applications. And if there is a separate project and the different kind of work is there, then you are to go by the different patent
Different.
applications. This is my advice, at least, because in one application, if you try to protect all the things, then it will be problem. And if you in a research project, there may be three, four, five applications for patents are there in a different project. So why you will go for only single patent? You can protect first the product, and thereafter you can protect the composition part, that is the formulation part, and you can sell directly the raw materials. You can directly sell the end product. So all depends on the strategy. But research scientists have no time to do or make the strategy. Patent is a pot of gold if we think the public interest and public policy, but tail of O's also, because whenever your product will hit the market and getting monopoly and market size is very big on your product, then a lot of infringer will enter into your field and trying to copy your product. So only by way of trade secret you can protect your inventions. So everyone has to come before you to for license only to share the trade secret, because only you know the trade secret of the product, because patent is giving you the outline of your research product, but the actual trade secret is lying within your text paper or your book or in your laboratory by which you are getting the product. So trade secret and the patent both are playing a very key role for transfer of technology during marketing the product. Okay.
The next question is again by Prabhat Kumar Swain. It's kind of you explained it. Do you think every invention is patentable?
No, every invention is not patentable. I have already said that after passing the test of invention, that is the new non-obviousness and industrial application, certain provisions are there under section 3 that after passing the test of the inventions, many inventions are not patentable, and particularly in the biological field, many research project, the product is coming, but that product is not a patentable such paper under Indian context. In Europe and USA, it may be patentable, but not in India.
Into India. So Jhikmik Dasgupta wants to know, does a research manuscript come under the purview of intellectual property? And can
Certainly, certainly, research manuscript should be protected by copyright first, not by patent. Copyright, the way of expression of your research work, that is also to be protected, because it is also the application of mind. Because the same process, you are writing in one way, I am writing in different way, another person is writing in different way. So first, all the things should be protected under copyright protections. First of all, if there is no patent merit on your work, understand my point? If there is patent merit, you first you assess whether it is patentable under India or not, then you go for Indian patent. If it is not patentable in India, in other countries it is patentable, you go to file the application in those countries where it is patentable. And before that, you find out licensee, that is, after patent, what you will do? It is intellectual property, right? So if you don't do business, you cannot earn profit. It is not like land or building, you can use it. Understand my point? So you have to find out the customer also who will buy your patent and give you money for further research work for your benefit. Understand?
Right. So this is kind of, I think you explained a bit of this, is how to proceed to for applying for a patent in India.
Yes, you have to file the applications in Indian Patent Office, where now online facilities is there, and their prescribed forms and fees are also there. If you are individual, 1,600. If it is a micro, small, and medium enterprise, 4,000. If it is a large company, then 8,000 rupees. It is online fees. And if you file offline, that is physical filing, 10% extra services you have to provide, and prescribed form is there. You have to draft the specification in a very good way so that it is a techno-legal document. There should not be any pitfall in drafting of specification. And I have seen in my life the very good work has turned to a very bad patent because of bad drafting. and very small work has turned to a very big patent, strong patent, because of good drafting. So expression and claim drafting is very important for drafting patent specifications. Okay.
Uh, sorry, I lost the question. One second. So I think that
I have
is all we have today. Those are all the questions that we have today. So thank you so much, sir, for this very interesting and important topic in our field. So I would like to request Professor Inare Banerjee to give the vote of thanks and end the session today.
Thank you, Shinjini. Excellent moderation. And thank you, Dr. Mitro. You explained it so nicely, but actually, you had more time. This is a 1 hour session. So, we usually request the speakers to take at least 45 to 50 minutes for the lectures and the next, 5-10 minutes for the question and answer. But you have explained it so nicely. So, I have a question for you, for the students, is that
Yeah.
we know that this is extremely important, and we know also that for the inventors, the people who work in different fields, not only in science but also in other fields, patenting is a protection of their intellectual property right, and furthermore to probably use it in a sense to generate revenue and make a sustainable body that can generate the revenue, generate employment, like that. So, if you would like to advise on how students of biological or related subjects may proceed to acquire the additional training to become associated with this profession as a patent
So
lawyer in the nitty
yeah,
gritties, like that.
yeah. Actually, we have a provision in the act to act as a patent attorney, and this is the only area where, without any law degree, any science graduate can work as a patent attorney. This is the only area. In other field, in every practice, you have to acquire law degree. But in intellectual property, only in patent practice, there is no requirement of law degree. Only a science graduate, minimum science graduate, after passing an examination conducted by Indian Patent Office in every year, you can have that degree. That is patent agent registration. And whenever you will get that registration, you can practice before controller as a patent attorney. You can draft the specification. You can go for the prosecution of your application before the controller, and also you can attend the hearing during grant of the patent or before disposal of the applications. But the thing is that your question is where I will go for training. WBNUJS, West Bengal National University of Juridical Science at Salt Lake, where Professor Nirmal Chakraborty is the Vice Chancellor is now today. So they are conducting some course, IP course, diploma course, and also West Bengal Council of Science and Technology, that Vikas Bhavan, Bigyan Bhavan, they are conducting in collaboration with West Bengal University of Technology one course, that is certificate and diploma course, from where you can obtain the certificate, degree, and training, and thereafter you can appear for the exams conducted by Indian Patent Office, and if you pass the test, then you can practice, and your starting salary, madam, will be minimum 50,000 rupees after passing the test. We are moving here and there for 5,000, 10,000 rupees salary, but if you can, it is a virgin area. You can have minimum 50,000 salary per month from any attorney house, from any attorney house.
That is a very
Okay?
useful information,
Hmm.
because now when the economy is not doing well, when the conventional careers are not providing as many inroads for trained students of undergraduate to postgraduate, the value addition and the scope of this profession seems enormous. So thank
Yes.
you so much. So nicely you have explained things. So simply you have explained. And I was just looking at all the questions when you were taking the questions, that only a professional can, take up the questions like that. So people who have actually worked in the field, this is a
Yes.
sort of different sort of a, ease of movement within the subject, as we say. So once again, thank you very much. And to all
Thank
the
you very
viewers, thank you once again for joining us. We join together on behalf of the team of PPB to thank Dr. Mitro for such a wonderful talk. And I hope from the advice, from his discourse, from the question answer that he has so patiently addressed, we all can benefit out of it. So thank you once again. And with that, we
thank you
end
all.
tonight's session.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank you everyone for joining us again. And join us tomorrow for our regular lecture, uh, which is going to be delivered by Dr. Rajmohan Akalat of the Zoological Society of India. Please follow us on Facebook and Twitter and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All our previous talks are archived in our YouTube channel, so you can check them out later. And thank you again for joining us. Take care and see you tomorrow.